Welcome, fellow members of the Esoteric Order of Gamers. It's yet another fantastic gaming session with your friends, Universal Head, Peter, and Will. Yes, and this time we're playing BattleLore 2nd Edition.
So here are the said figures. Looking very tasty indeed. So remember there was something about highlighting of these cloaks. There are the said cloaks, and here are the evil nasties, which of course I will be playing. So then.
Right, so let's just quickly go through the setup of the game.
Right.
Okay, this is what a game of BattleLore 2nd Edition looks like when it's set up. And what we've got here are the deployment cards. So each player chooses an army. You can make up your own using point scores, or you can use an army card, which is sort of a pre-chosen army, something like this. And then you get cards matching those units. You throw in some decoy cards until you've got 18 cards in total. Each of you also has one of these scenario cards which shows how to set up the terrain on your half of the board and where you can place those deployment cards. So this is my half here. It has some special rules and some victory point rules as well. And you can see I've set up all my deployment cards here, so my opponent doesn't know which ones are my units and which ones are just decoys. He of course has done the same. So the next thing we do is we'll be revealing all of these cards and replacing them with units, or just throwing the card away if it's a decoy card. Each of us take 6 command cards, which are the main cards that drive the game, and we take 3 lore cards from our own lore deck. Now we choose which ones we want to keep. We return 2 of the command cards and 1 of the lore cards, so we end up with 4 command cards and 2 lore cards as our hand. And here's my hand, as you can see, and I'm just using the Memoir 44 card stands so I don't have to hold them in my hand. So there's my units. I'm going to replace my cards with the units, and then everything will be set up. You can see Will here beavering away, putting his units on the board, and then we'll show you what it looks like when all the units are set up. So there it is, the deployment cards are all removed from the board, and there are our forces. And don't they look lovely? They're all painted, everything's very colourful. It's the way a game of BattleLore 2nd Edition should be played.
At least it should look. We haven't seen the degree of incompetence with the play yet. Although we have played this once already in the last 48 hours, so there's a fair chance we may get it right this time.
It's relatively simple, isn't it? We didn't stuff anything up last time.
We know how to play this game.
Yeah, we know how to play. And we've played many BattleLore type games in the past, and this just has a few changes to the basic system.
Hundreds of Memoir 44 games, so
Indeed.
if you've played either of those before, you won't find BattleLore 2nd Edition very difficult at all.
True. So Will has come out guns blazing with an onslaught card. And this means he could move 3 of these. What are these things called?
Blood Harvesters.
Blood harvesters. He moved 3 of them up very into my half of the board. One of them's into my half of the board and already attacking a unit of archers. He's not mucking about, charging, screaming over the hills.
Yes.
So he rolls dice equal to his combat value, which is...
Flexing your bow fingers, then suddenly they're upon you.
Yes.
And my combat value is 3.
So 3 dice.
3 dice. Woeful.
Oh,
Don't
dear.
tell me this is going to be a continuation of bad rolling. I don't think I could stand it.
So what we have there is 2 pierce symbols, which means he would hit if he was doing range combat, which he's not, and 1 lore, so he gets to get a lore token. You can spend lore tokens to power lore cards, but it's not much good in close combat though, because he doesn't actually hit me. Now all units get to counter attack in this game, unless they have a special ability that says they can't. So in this case, the rangers can fight back. My rangers only have a combat of 2, however, so I roll 2 dice and get a pierce and a lore. So I actually hit him with that pierce.
But is this not melee because I'm adjacent to you?
It is, but I can still do a ranged attack at melee range. So I get 1 lore token and a hit. So
hit me.
That'll teach you.
Okay, so I lose 1. Now that means because they have rage, I add 1 die to each combat roll performed by this unit for each figure missing in future. So next time I attack, they'll fight with 4 dice.
Right.
They're enraged.
Things are already quite nasty over on the right-hand flank here. My cavalry came forward, but his flesh rippers have also done so, and those blood harvester things as well, and they've just wiped out 2 cavalry units. And now he's going to follow that up with the flesh ripper brutes.
Blood harvesters attacking in a frenzy, which is invoked by this icon, which means they remove an extra figure from the enemy, but they also have to sacrifice one of their own.
Oh, good.
So now here, 3 dice from Flesh Ripper Brutes, and if the target unit has suffered 1 more damage, cause 1 damage. So that's 2 hits, and Law, you're goodbye.
Oh no!
And I am cavalry, so I can pursue. I'm going to pursue, and I move up to 2 hexes and perform 1 additional attack. So I'll attack you here. So 3 dice.
Charges through and is going for the archers.
Oh, it's a hit and 2 bloodthirst. If the target unit has suffered 1 more damage, cause 1 damage. No, so I'll just do 1 damage to your archers.
Whew. Right, so things are pretty grim on the right flank. I managed to beat them back, but lost all my units in the process just about. Only a couple of archers left there. Over on the left flank, Will made a nasty attack with 2 units of Flesh Ripper Brutes. Wiped out all but 1 of my cavalry. There were 2 cavalry units there, and now there's only 1 lone fellow there going, "Oh, help me!"
Just again, like this fellow here. This is exactly what happened over on that flank.
Horrifying, isn't it? I managed to force him back, but I'm sure he'll be back. I've got lots of troops in the centre, but...
which is earning you a victory point every turn.
It is. One of the victory point special abilities on my scenario card allows me to get a point every turn if I have more friendly units in the central sector than the enemy, which I do. So I now have 2 victory points. Will has 3. The game continues. So I've activated 3 on the left flank, and I've moved over my Citadel Guard, my archers, and my 1 remaining cavalry here, and I'm now playing Runeblade, which is a lore card. And I spend my 5 lore points, and I get to play this card, and this allows me, after I've declared the target of an attack, to roll 4 dice, place 1 result on it, keeping that result, and then rolling dice again, putting another result on it, and continuing this until all 4 dice are on the card. So it really lets me get a very focused type of attack, and hopefully, if I'm lucky, I'll wipe out that nasty unit of brutes. And if I don't, I can always follow up with the infantry and the archers. As you can see, the Runeblade is a nice card, because after rolling those dice individually and racking them up, I've got 3 hits, which wipes out the Flesh Ripper Brutes.
Completely splattered.
Yes, and in fact, the Citadel Guard, for some reason, are very fast, because they have Pursue, which is strange. That's usually a unit that is reserved for cavalry, but Citadel Guard obviously are trained athletes. They're like Spartans, and they run forward and attack.
100 metres of hurdles every 10 minutes.
This bunch.
Useless.
So it didn't wipe out the second unit, but certainly forced them off a ways. So things are looking better on the left flank. Will, it is your turn.
Yes, and I'm going to do a line advance, 1 in each section, and I'm going to go 1, 2, and capture that.
And
I'm
back.
going to go 1 to here, and over here I'm going to go 1, 2, and capture that.
Oh dear.